So, dadako na tayo sa marketing research. So, ano nga ba ang marketing research? Is the process of determining the viability of a new service or product through research conducted directly with potential customers. Allows a company to discover the target market and get opinions and other feedbacks from consumers about their interest in the product or service. So, dito sa marketing research, ito yung process ng isang service or product na magkakandak sila ng research or potential sa customers. So, dito kasi, ang company, kailangan mag-discover ng target market and get opinions or parang hihingi sila ng opinion sa other consumers para uh, para doon sa interest sa product or service nila. So, dito kasi some larger companies maintain in-house marketing research while other engage the service independent marketing research firms on the per project basis. So, dito kasi sa marketing research, may mga tao na nagkakandak sila ng survey or which is may mga marketer na nagkakandak ng survey like pumupunta sila sa mga convenience para mag-conduct lang ng survey para alam nila kung ano yung produkto na interesado or interesado ba yung produkto na kanilang ibinebenta. Yun yung marketing research. Next is the purpose of and importance of marketing research. Company has complete information about their product from production to distribution. However, it is a challenge for the company to know what happens to the product after it was purchased. So, dito napakahalaga na malaman mo muna or alamin mo muna kung ano yung produkto na kailangan mo, na kung ano yung produkto na i-distribute mo sa marketer. At ito yung challenge ng mga companies na know what happens to the product after it was purchased. So, dito papasok ang who used the product, how it used, how much or how little of it used, and general attitude of the consumer toward the product are no explicitly. So, dito kasi makikita na kung sino yung gagamit ng product or dito mo malaman kung paano gagamitin yung product or magkano yung product at ano yung gagamitin, paano mo gagamitin yung product. So, dito kasi value ng product para sa consumers kasi difficult to measure because perception of the value are subject.
Step in the marketing research process. Step 1. Research need determination. The initial step in marketing research save efforts, time, and cost by assessing the problem situation, determining if necessary information is available, addressing budgetary constraint, and ensuring timely delivery of research. Step 2. Problem opportunity definition. Marketing research can encompass both problem and opportunities, but precise definition of the problem. Opportunity is crucial for setting the research direction and operational parameters. Step 3. Establishment of research objectives. Research objective aims to collect precise data to fill information gaps, requiring clarity, detail, and operationality. Step 4. Research design determination. The process involves determining the methods and procedure for gathering and analyzing information with four major types of marketing research design being the most common. This is the four major types of marketing research design. Number 1. Observational. Social phenomena is observed in its natural setting and and observation can be made at any one time of regularly within a period of time. Experimental includes laboratory experiments and test marketing. Result from two set of samples are compared. Qualitative includes focus group, in-depth interviews, and projective techniques. This type of research uses only a small number of respondents.
After identifying the first 4 steps in marketing research process, let's now proceed to the step 5. So the step 5 is the information source or type identification. So dito na, inaalam na natin yung mga sources na dapat gamitin at kung saan natin dapat gamitin yung mga information na makukuha natin. So meron tayong 2 types of sources, which is the primary and the secondary. So si primary source, tinatawag din natin siyang original source or original documents. Meaning, yung mga information na nakuha doon is nakita natin mismo or na-experience natin. Nagmula sa atin mismo. Pero sa primary naman, ito yung mga nabasa lang natin sa books, journals, and mga periodicals. Next naman, so, itong mga sources na to ay ginagamit ng mga retailers para makapag-enhance pa ng kanilang service at makapag-gain pa ng mga customer. So, halimbawa dyan yung mga barcodes. Yung mga barcodes na yon is natatrack nun yung mga purchase every day or every minute. Pwede din. So, yun, nalalaman nila yung mga usual na binibili ng mga buyers and therefore, nagpo-promote sila or nag-offer sila ng mga discounts sa kanilang mga regular customers. Step 6. Determine access methods. So, one of the most popular ways of data access is the person-administered survey, computer-administered survey, self-administered survey, at saka hybrid survey. So, itong 4 na to ay one of the most popular ways lang ng ating data access. So, isa-isahin natin kung ano nga ba ito. Person-administered survey are faster and cost-effective. So, itong way of surveying na to is hinahayaan yung respondents na magsagot sa questionnaire. Kumbaga, yung interviewer is hindi nakikialam. Kaya, yun ay unbiased. Hindi binigyan ng anumang opinion ng interviewer, hinayaan niya lang na magsagot ang respondents. Next naman is the computer-administered surveys, eliminate time-consuming data manipulation. So, ito naman, pagsisend ng questionnaire through emails. Next is the self-administered surveys are inexpensive but may lack respondent control. So, by the word itself, self-administered, ibig sabihin, yung respondents lang yung sumasagot mismo. Sarili niya lang, siya lang. Next is the hybrid survey. Ito na yung may combination ng qualitative and quantitative research para sa more comprehensive results.
Data Collections Form Design. Ano nga ba ang Data Collections Form Design? A type of a form that allows you to collect and gather information on a specific topic or subject. Ito po yung uri ng form na nag-aalaw sa atin na mangolekta at mangalap ng impormasyon sa isang particular na paksa. Ang halimbawa po nito ay survey. Meron pong major parts ang survey questionnaire, which is introduction, screening, core, and classification. Ano nga ba ang introduction? Ito po ang naglalaman ng panimula ng mananaliksik sa pagbati. Ang screening naman po, ito po ay idinisenyo upang alisin ang mga respondante na hindi kwalipikadong makilahok sa survey. Ang core naman po, the body of the survey questionnaire, ito po ang katawan o nilalaman ng survey questionnaire. Ang classifications naman po, to classify respondents into different groups for stratification and analysis purposes. Upang uriin or suriin ang mga sumasagot sa iba't ibang grupo para sa mga layunin ng pagsusuri. Ang halimbawa po nito ay ang paghahanap ng edad, kasarian o kung saan ka nakatira. Several types of questions are used in questionnaire. Ano nga ba ang types of questions na ginagamit sa questionnaire? Ito po ay categorical questions, open-end questions, and metric questions. Categorical questions are questions where answer options are provided. Ito po yung tanong kung saan ibinigay ang mga pagpipilian sa sagot. Ang open-end questions naman, a respondent can answer these questions in his or her own words. Masasagot po ng isang respondente ang mga tanong na ito sa kanyang sariling mga salita. Ang metric questions naman, which require respondents to answer using a number on a scale developed by the researcher. Ito po yung tanong na nangangailangan ng isang respondente na sumagot gamit ang isang numero o sukat na binubuo ng mananaliksik.
Step 8. Sample size and sampling plan determination. In order to achieve 100% accuracy in the conduct of consumer surveys, it is ideal to give questionnaire to every member of the target population. This type of survey is called census. So, yung tinatawag na census is magbibigay ka ng questionnaire sa lahat ng member ng iyong target population. So, yun kasi, medyo mahaba-habang proseso at medyo matagal. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na sampling plan or sa stats, ginagamit din sa stats para mas mapadali yung pagsisurvey o pagkuha natin ng information from our respondents. So, meron tayong dalawang sampling methodology na tinatawag nating non-probability and probability sampling. So, under na non-probability sampling, meron tayong different types din, which is the convenience sampling, judgment sampling, referral, and quota. Ngayon, alamin muna natin ano ba si non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling does not involve probabilities. All the members of the survey population do not have an equal chance of being selected to be part of the sample. So, si non-probability by the word itself, non-probability, hindi siya nag-involve ng any probabilities. So, hindi siya random. Hindi gumagana dito yung concept ng random kung saan lahat ng member ng population ay may chance na mapili. So, eto siya, si non-probability. Ngayon, ang unang type is the convenience sampling. When the researcher arbitrarily selects relatives, friends, and or classmates, etc. to be given survey questionnaire. Convenience. So, sabi na nga, diba, convenience. Kung pinipili lang nila yung mga respondents na convenience sa kanila, ibig sabihin yung available na. For example, yung mga relatives natin, yung mga kaibigan natin, at saka yung mga classmates natin na malalapit na sa atin. Next is the judgment sampling. The researcher gives survey questionnaire to individuals who is in her judgment are qualified to participate in the survey. So, dito naman, pinipili lang ng researcher yung respondents na bibigyan niya ng survey based on his or her judgment. Next is the referral sampling. The researcher asks initial respondents to provide other qualified respondents for the survey. So, dito naman, nagkakaroon na ng referral. Kunwari ako, nag-survey ako doon sa classmate ko na yung mother niya is nasa ibang bansa. So, therefore, yung classmate ko na yon is magtatanong din siya or magsasabi siya sa akin na makakilala niya pa na classmate niya din or kakilala niya na nasa ibang bansa din yung family. Kumbaga, referral lang. And next is the quota sampling. When the researcher specify the proportions of various classification to be included in the survey. Kay quota sampling naman, ang natandaan nyo lang dito is meron siyang specific number of respondents na kailangan niya lang kuhanan ng info. After the non-probability, pumunta naman tayo sa probability sampling. Si probability sampling naman utilize the principle of randomness. Randomness is when every member of the survey population has an equal, non-zero chance of being selected as part of the sample. So, kung kanina hindi gumagana yung randomness na concept, dito naman sa probability sampling, ito na yung meron ng randomness or lahat ng member ng population is may equal chance na mapili. So, meron din niyang different types. Una is the simple random sampling, when the researcher selects survey respondents so that each member of the population has an identical chance of being chosen to be included in the sample. So, kunwari kayo sa isang group. So, lahat yon pwedeng mapili. Yun yung simple random sampling. Next naman is the systematic sampling. Systematic sampling naman is, kunwari, group kayo. Tapos magbibilang kayo ng 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, lahat ng 3 doon, sila yung pipiliin. Naka-system ba? Systematic ba? Si cluster sampling naman, ito yung whole group kayo na pinipili. Kunwari, merong group A, may group B, at may group C. So, si group A, lahat sila, group A, pipiliin yun para kuhanan ng survey. Next naman is the stratified sampling. So, kung si cluster is pinipili yung isang group, yung buong group, si stratified naman pipili lang ng isa, bawat group. So, si group A, group B, at group C, pipili lang ng representative sa group A, representative sa group B, at representative sa group C. Next naman is the data collection. So, kung makikita nyo dyan sa aming PowerPoint, ay meron kayong makikitang picture na may formula together with its computation. So, yung formula na makikita nyo dyan ay tinatawag nating Slovin's formula, which is the number of sample is equals to the total population divided by 1 plus total population times margin of error raised to 2. So, ngayon, ang example natin dyan is yung population na 1,000. Ngayon, ginagamit natin tong formula na to para malaman natin kung ilan yung number of samples na kukunin natin doon sa total population. So, sabihin natin 1,000 ang total population. Ngayon, let's solve kung ilang number of samples ba yung kukunin natin doon sa 1,000. So, n, small n is the number of samples. Yun yung hinahanap natin. Tapos yung capital N naman stands for the total population, which is the 1,000. And yung E naman is yung margin of error. So, wala tayong margin of error ngayon. So, para makuha natin si margin of error, is magsiset muna tayo ng confidence level. So, dyan sa example natin, nag-set tayo ng confidence level na 95%, kaya ang magiging margin of error natin is 0.05. Ngayon, dahil kumpleto na yung ating given, i-substitute na sa Slovin's formula. Slovin, I mean. So, number of samples is equals to 1,000 divided by 1 plus 1,000 times 0.05 raised to 2. So, pag pinindot nyo yan sa calculator, ang lalabas ay 285.714286. So, para makuha natin, gawin natin siyang whole number. I-round off natin siya. Kaya, magiging sagot dyan ay 286. So, meaning, sa total population na 1,000, 286 lang yung number of samples na kailangan natin. At ang pinakahuli sa ating marketing research process ay step 11, which is the research report and presentation. So, dito na ay piniprepare na natin yung presentation and meron na din tayong findings, yung mga interpretation, conclusion, and recommendations na magagamit ng ating mga marketing decision makers. kapag nakapag-collect na tayo ng data, i-analyze na natin yun syempre. Ito na yung step 10, which is data analysis. So, yung ating mga na-collect na data is isa-summarize and i-generalize natin para hindi masyado mahaba at mas maintindihan. Bukod pa doon, is malalaman natin yung mga differences and yung relationship ng mga information na nakuha natin. So, meron tayong common statistical tools na ginagamit sa data analysis. Andyan yung percentage, mean, range, standard deviation, hypothesis test, confidence interval, percentage and mean difference test, cross tabulation, correlation, and regression analysis. At dahil nga alam na natin kung paano tayo pipili ng respondents sa ating survey, magpo-proceed na tayo sa step 9, which is the data collection. So, eto na, sa stage na to, or sa step na to, magbibigay na tayo ng questionnaire doon sa mga napili nating respondents. Yun nga lang, sa pagko-collect ng data, meron tayong mga pwedeng ma-encounter ng mga problems. Tulad ng fieldwork errors, or mali-maling pag-record ng mga survey, break-offs, is kapag yung respondents is hindi tinuloy yung pagsagot sa survey. Item omission. Ito naman kapag yung respondents natin is hindi sinasagutan lahat ng tanong sa survey. Ibig sabihin may nalalampasan. Next naman, when a potential respondent refuses to be a participant in the survey. Kapag yung respondents or target respondents natin is hindi pumayag or ayaw mag-participate doon sa gagawin natin.
So for the last part of this reporting is making marketing research basic decisions. Marketing research reports include a lot of information that can aid organize in making effective marketing decision rather than resorting and unsupportive gut feel decision. So some example of reports and the marketing decision they can support are: first is external factors research. What is external factors research? The information from this research help marketers identify macro-environmental shift. This is based in pinpointing opportunities and anticipating threats. So when it comes external factors research, dito makikita ang information ng mga researchers to helps dito magkakaroon ng research information para matulungan ang mga marketers to identify the macro-environmental shift. So, ano nga ba yun? Based on the pinpointing, opportunities, and threats. So, next is observation threats. This is an invaluable aid in determining consumers' behavior. It assists marketers in determining the right shelf placement strategy to use. It also reveals the effectiveness of point of purchase collateral materials. So, dito observation, ano nga ba yung observation research? So, observation research is dito makikita yung mga behavior ng consumers na mag-a-assist sa marketers to determining the right shelf placement strategy to use. So, fourth is test marketing. Based on test marketing result, the company shall gauge the accessibility of the proposed product service. The company can have the opportunity to recalibrate elements in marketing mix and to measure their efforts on customers' demands and overall satisfaction. Its finding can result in the discontinuous or of proposed product service if result indicates general lack of interest. So, dito sa test marketing, dito natin matetest yung result ng company na kung ano yung sukat na accessible of uh, proposed product service. Na yung company na kung may opportunity ba na mag-re-celebrate elements in marketing mix and to measure their effects and consumer demands and overall satisfaction. Kung dito natin matitest yung marketing or dito natin matitest yung mga product or services ng isang company. So, the fifth is target market studies. This helps identify, quantify, and understand the target market better. Companies may decide to redefine its target market by including characteristics the market should possess. Target market studies. So dito natin sino ba yung target ng ating market? Sino ba yung target ng companies? So companies may decide redefine its target market by include characteristic the market should possess. So, dito, yung target market studies, dito natin makikita yung quantify, understand the target market better. So, kailangan natin, yung company, kailangan makita kung ano yung quantify or ano yung qualify ng market para maging better yung market. You know?
Concept, product development, and product studies. Using the result generated by concept, product development, and product studies, marketing organization shall select the proposed product service concept that have the highest level of market acceptance. So, yung concept development, ito po yung initial stage kung saan yung idea or concept for a new product or service is formed. This idea is based on market research, customer feedback, and industry trends. And yung product development, ini-include dito ay yung designing, prototyping, and pagtitest sa product para ma-ensure it meets the needs and expectation of the target market. And yung product studies, on the other hand, involves evaluating the developed product performance. It includes assessing customer acceptance, market potential, and the overall viability of the product or service in the market. And yung ultimate goal of these processes is to select the product or service concept that is most likely to be accepted by the market. By doing so, marketing organization can ensure they invest their resources in product or services that have a high probability of success, thereby maximizing their return on investment. Usage, attitude, and image studies. These studies can provide cost-effective ways on how to increase a product services awareness level and brand trial. Usage, attitude, and image studies are types of market research that help businesses understand how their product or services are perceived and used by consumers. And usage refers to how consumers are actually using a product or service. For example, a company might discover that their product is being used in ways they hadn't anticipated, which could open up new marketing opportunity. And attitude refers to how consumers feel about a product or service. This could include their level of satisfaction, any problem they experience, or what they like or dislike about it. And image refers to how consumers perceive a brand or product. And this could be influenced by many factors including advertising, word of mouth, or consumers' own experiences with the product. And these studies can provide valuable insight that can help a company increase awareness of their product or service and encourage more people to try it.